What a great card we had last night in the UFC's comeback to Iowa after more than 20 years. We had some great fights with exciting moments, some great KOs and TKOs, and only a couple stinkers. But with that being said, today we'll be breaking down Sandhagen's dominant performance over Figgy and the rest of the card as well. We will go over our picks and how many we got correct or incorrect. But without further ado, let's start with the first fight in Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrovic. Man, this was a clinch fest from both of these ladies. There was a few reversals in that first round, but pretty boring overall. It was a very low level fight, very uneventful. Juliana Miller did have some control time with some strikes on the ground in the second, and she definitely dominated the second round. That's probably what won her the fight, because the third round was pretty close. Ivana Petrovic did have some good strikes in that last round, but I don't think it was enough to win the fight. We all got this pick incorrect, and we started the night 0-1. But alright, moving on to the next one. We had a heavyweight bout between Thomas Peterson and Dontel Mays. Thomas Peterson won a decision over Dontel Mays. This was a grappling domination. Nothing too exciting though. Thomas Peterson was getting all the takedowns he wanted. He had some decent control time, I guess. Just like I predicted, there was a lot of smudge wrestling, even though Peterson did get a sub twice in that first round. But like I said, pretty dominant win for Peterson. Nothing too crazy for Dontel Mays. Didn't do much in the first. Actually, he didn't do much in the whole fight. Besides that crazy Hail Mary knee that he almost landed. But in my opinion, cut Mays. I didn't see nothing too crazy in there. We got this pick correct. This put us at 1-1 for the night. But there's not really much to break down on these guys. But anyway, moving on. We got Gaston Bolaños versus Quang Lee. Quang Lee pulled up a submission win via rear naked choke. This fight started out very slow with Quang Lee getting some trash control time through most of the first. Picked up in the second. Gaston Bolaños was very good with his defense on the ground. He was very smart. He was not forcing anything until that second round, where Quang Lee just, I don't know, man. He just was doing the same thing that he did in the first, and was able to get his rear naked choke submission win. Good comeback win for this guy. We got this pick incorrect. Put us at 1-2. Moving on. For the next fight, we had Marina Rodriguez versus Jillian Robertson. This fight went pretty much as everyone expected. Jillian Robertson pulling a good win. She looked great. Rodriguez almost had a sneaky sub in there though, but Jillian Robertson, as good as she is on the ground, Marina Rodriguez wasn't able to complete it. But ground domination, great one for her. She looked great. However, on the feet, she still needs a little bit of work. She was getting tagged. But other than that, great win for her, and we'll continue her winning streak. And yeah, we got this pick correct. This put us at 2-2. Moving on, we had the next fight, Ryan Loder versus Asamat Bekoev. Man, Bekoev came in swinging, and he came to finish the job as soon as he could. Loder has a decent chin. He didn't go out cold with some of Bekoev's strikes, and he has some strong strikes. Bekoev's definitely a problem. He looked great. Huge power punches, and a D1 wrestler couldn't take this guy down. But yeah, great KO win for him. We got this pick correct. All of us, we all agreed on this one. But yeah, moving on. Next fight, we got Yana Santos versus Miesha Tate. We all got this pick incorrect. We thought Miesha Tate's championship background was going to be able to help her in this fight. She started and ended good, but it wasn't good enough to win the fight. Yana Santos was smart. She had a great performance. He picked Miesha Tate apart. She looked great on the feet, and this is a great win for her. But Miesha Tate probably should call it a career. But yeah, this was probably the best women's fight of the night. There were some exciting moments, but yeah, we got this pick incorrect as well. We did so bad on picks last night. Anyway, for the next fight, the main card opener, we had Jeremy Stephens and Mason Jones. This fight was a banger. First and second round was super fun. They were going at it. They were scrapping. They were throwing hands. Mason Jones looked great. He was piecing Jeremy Stephens apart, mixing up kicks, body shots. He was doing a lot of stuff well. Was getting all the takedowns that he wanted. I just feel like if he would have kept standing and banging with this guy in that third round, he definitely would have gotten a performance bonus. And most likely probably could have been the fight of the year so far. But Mason Jones was just smart, I guess, and just decided to control Jeremy Stephens throughout that third. But I guess good win for him. He's back in the winning column in the UFC, because he's coming off a fight winning streak in the regional scene. But I'm not sure how far this guy's gonna get, but he did look really good, and we'll see what's next for him. And yeah, moving on to the next fight, we had Cameron Smotherman versus Siri Sidey. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Anyway, this is a good win for him. Smotherman is a very one-dimensional guy. Doesn't have anything more other than like his boxing, I guess. He did stuff some of Sidey's takedowns, but the ones that Sidey landed looked good. Sidey's style is kind of boring, to be honest, but at the same time, I guess it's just my casual take. I wanted these guys to stand and bang, especially because Cameron Smotherman was my underdog. Well, actually, it was all of our underdog pick of the night, but Sidey very smart to control the range and make sure that he didn't get clipped with any of Smotherman's punches, because he packs a punch. And Smotherman had a good freaking corner, bro. He had I think Alexa Grasso's dad and Diego Lopez in there. This guy trained in Puebla with Diego Lopez's team, so I was expecting even more from him, but we'll see what's next for him. Probably give him another chance. And for Sidey, keep going with his win streak. Probably get someone else closer to the rankings. Not top 15 quite yet, but someone closer. But anyway, for the next fight, we had Montel Jackson going up against Daniel Marcos. Montel Jackson pulled a good decision win over Daniel Marcos to end his winning streak and giving him his first loss. I don't know, man. Marcos' output wasn't there. He wasn't doing much. Montel Jackson did pretty good to defend Daniel Marcos's takedown attempts, I guess. There was a lot of like garbage control time throughout the fight where Daniel Marcos was kind of just holding Montel Jackson up against the cage and not doing much with that. Montel Jackson did get a few, or I think it was a couple good takedowns in there. I expected this fight to go kind of this way, but I really wanted this guy to stand and bang. But again, that's probably just my casual take. Daniel Marcos is not the type of guy to stand in the middle of the cage and stand and bang with a dangerous guy like Montel Jackson. And like I said in the breakdown video, I didn't see nothing too impressive from Daniel Marcos, especially in this fight. Nothing that he did was too impressive. But anyway, I'll stop being too harsh on him. Good win from Montel Jackson. We all three agreed on this fight, and we all three got it correct, which put us at 5-4 for the night. But yeah, moving on to the next fight, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. Dude, this was such a fun fight. It was a back and forth scrap. Both of these guys were throwing haymakers. Daniel Rodriguez threw a crazy hook that had Santiago Ponzinibbio rocked, even knocked him down to the ground in that first round. And that's kind of where it started falling down, even though Santiago Ponzinibbio came into that second round swinging, bro. And till that point, it was 1-1. Once that third round started, Daniel Rodriguez was a little bit more patient. He looked like he was gassed out, and I thought Ponzinibbio was going to win decision win and get that third round. But Daniel Rodriguez didn't give up and let go of his hands and landed a clean combination to knock out Santiago Ponzinibbio. Diego and I got this pick incorrect. We thought Santiago Ponzinibbio was going to pull a KO win here, but it was the complete opposite. Ivan was the only one that got it correct. That put him at 6-4 and put him in the lead for the picks for the night. Alright guys, for the next fight we had Rainier the Ritter going up against Bo Nickel. Dude, RDR is him. He looked so good in this fight. He fraud checked Bo Nickel. But I don't know, man. I don't know how people thought that Bo Nickel was going to be able to beat RDR. Sorry, Diego. This guy is a D1 wrestler. They put him against a two-time champ. Pretty sure it was in two different divisions. RDR is just that good. He was piecing Bo Nickel up exactly like Ivan and I said. Bo Nickel did get a takedown, but he wasn't able to do much with it. RDR's wrestling is just that good. And this fight ended pretty fast. RDR landed a series of knees to the body, starting with the crazy knee to the body, then landing some nice combinations, throwing some punches to the face. Then throughout that whole exchange, Bo Nickel was just taking everything and kind of crumpling up into a little ball until RDR landed the finishing blow with a crazy knee to the liver, which shut Bo completely down. Just kind of crumpled into the ball finally. But low-key, guys, I don't want to be a hater, but it was satisfying watching RDR piece up Bo Nickel and giving him his first loss. But all right, all right, all right. I'm not gonna be a complete hater. Hopefully this guy turns his career around. This was probably a good loss for him. He got humbled, and he's gonna see that there's levels to this game, and he definitely needs to improve his striking and not just rely on his D1 wrestling. But yeah, guys, Ivan and myself got this pick correct. Diego was the only one that got it incorrect. This put Ivan still at the lead, 7-4. I was in second place with 6-5, and Diego with 5-6. All right, guys, moving on to the main event. We had Corey Sandhagen going up against Davidson Figueiredo. Man, Sandhagen looked amazing. He got a good TKO win via, I guess, a tap out. Davidson Figueiredo got injured. I feel bad for him, man. But regardless, I don't know what this guy's plan was. It wasn't clear what he wanted to do. Corey Sandhagen looked super dominant. He just looked obviously bigger and stronger, faster too. Even he was mixing up his striking very well. However, when they went to the ground, they had some nice scrambling exchanges. Pretty fun to watch. Some pretty cool reversals. They were put into some awkward positions with Corey Sandhagen's leg being isolated a few times, but Davidson Figueiredo didn't do much with that. But it was a complete utter domination on the striking department, with Corey Sandhagen having 54 significant strikes to Davidson Figueiredo's 6 significant strikes. This is a great win for Corey Sandhagen. In my opinion, this guy deserves a title shot next. He proved in this fight by beating a former champ, even though he's kind of falling off. But just the way that he dominated Figueiredo and the way that he looked out there in this performance just looks so good. And I think he's ready for whoever wins between Merab and Sean O'Malley. But yeah, guys, that concludes our post-fight breakdown of the fights. Ivan and Diego couldn't join me because they were pretty busy. But overall, this fight card was very, very fun. Like I said at the intro, we did have a couple stinkers, but that's to be expected. Not all fights are going to be crazy exciting. But like I said, overall, great card. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and then we'll see you guys in the next video. It's probably going to be the breakdown video for UFC 315, Bilal Muhammad versus JDM. That's going to be a fire card too, so watch out for that video. And again, thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.